Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Heather with Creativity by Heather BE. Today I am over on the Brutus Monroe blog and I am showing you 5 cards, 1 kit from the August inspiration kit. This kit was all about fairies and fairy gardens. So I am going to show you a quick unboxing here of the kit and some of the products that I'm going to be using. The first thing here are the wooden mushroom buttons. They are so cute, and I will actually use those in card 1, and there were so many left over, so I'll be using them in other cards additionally. You get these little wood pieces. It also came with these gorgeous multicolored gems, which I will also use in a card. And there was some organza green ribbon, which was just gorgeous. And of course, you always get a charm. This month was the fairy. And the mushroom dies are the 2 dies that came in this set. And then this huge, amazing build your own little fairy garden stamp set. So for card number 2, we're going to be doing some masking and using this stamp set to create our own little fairy garden. This set has just so many possibilities. And of course, as always with the Brutus Monroe inspiration kits, you get panels that you can foil, you can watercolor them. They're all ready to go to make quick, simple cards. Some of them were just beautiful with the one there that has like the grass and the butterflies. You can make great, simple cards. And as always, you also get tons of cardstock. There was some printed craft paper, which we're going to use that daisy or the flower one right there. You get card bases and then greens and a few purple colors for your card bases and just card panels. So for card number 1, I am going to use those mushroom buttons. I love those things. So this is a stamp sheet that Brutus Monroe has that you can get at no charge. You just add it to your cart and print it out, and you can actually stamp out all of the surface inks that you have. So that way, and I'll use it, I'll stamp it out, I let it dry, so that way I can kind of tell the true colors and I can choose my colors for my cards that way. I'll also show you in another video one that I have for the Glitterstock and also one that I created for embossing powder. So I decided to use this craft paper and I wanted to just line the mushrooms up at the bottom, and I'm going to use the Doodlebug brads to attach those. They have 2 little holes in them. And I thought those little colorful brads would be perfect to attach them. You could also sew them, use thread, use ribbon to stitch them on. For me, I am not a sewer of any kind. I can't even sew a button on. So I decided to use the little Doodlebug brads. As you can see there, they fit perfectly. And the bottom hole, I just left that one empty. So once I had the mushrooms picked out that I wanted to use, I decided I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a rainbow color for the background. So the inks that I'm using here, the first one is Rouge, and then I'm going to use Rock Candy and then Aubergine. So those colors together, the Rouge and the Rock Candy, will create my greens. We'll get our oranges in there. So I'm only going to use these 3 colors. I did try to foil that background just to see if it was foilable. I didn't think it was because of the way it was printed, but I tried it and it is not. But it still looks gorgeous with the ink blending, and really, I could have left the panel the way it was. It was gorgeous just the way it was with the white on the craft paper. So that could have been a very simple panel that really you wouldn't have even had to do anything to. So now I'm laying down the aubergine, which I love this purple color. I just got the cardstock in this. It is just gorgeous. So once I get those colors down, I'm just going to go back through again. And I did decide that I wanted to add a little bit of orange into it. So I'm going back to my surface inks, and I believe I picked jack-o'-lantern. Yes. So I did add some jack-o'-lantern in underneath that aubergine. So I'm going to go in and add that as well. And the row there on the bottom, I wasn't really too concerned about it. I am going to put some ink on it because that's where my wooden mushroom buttons are going to be. So I just went back over that lightly with some Rouge. So I love the panel the way it was, but this kit came with fairy dust embossing powder, and you can also get this separately. That's what I love about these inspiration kits. You can purchase just about everything else separately. So this is my embossing sheet that I created, and so I've got all my colors that I have, and that's the fairy dust. Look how gorgeous that is. When that hits the light, you get this beautiful green color with it. It's just beautiful. So I'm taking my embossing ink pad and I am putting it straight to paper. Now this will use up a lot of your embossing ink, but for me I found it's the easiest way when I'm doing a full panel embossing like this. So I'm just sprinkling that fairy dust embossing powder, and it's just beautiful before you even heat set it. I love this embossing powder. There's another embossing powder I'm going to use on the third card. That's actually the embossing powder of the month for August. And oh my goodness, wait till you see it. So I'm just heat setting this, and I wanted it to have that shine and to have that glimmer to kind of bring out that surface ink a little bit more. And the mushrooms are very muted. You can see, look how pretty that is once it hits the light. This embossing powder, wow. The embossing powders from Brutus Monroe, you know, I've said that that is my favorite product that is offered through Brutus Monroe. Love them. So I am using a tonic picker, poker, whatever you want to call it here, and I'm just poking a hole straight through my panel and where I want to have my brad. So once I poke that through, then all I have to do is just add the brad in, poke it through the hole, and I'm good. Now I am going to go back in and take this particular one off and add a piece of that green ribbon, which you can see laying there, the organza ribbon, to kind of add a little bit more to this. And I did off camera heat emboss using the Alabaster White Sentiment Hello, and that is from the Sharon script stamp set. So there you can see I pulled that off and just attached a piece of that green organza ribbon. I love that ribbon. I like that it had the green, but it also has the translucent effect, so the background came through. And then I'm going to attach my sentiment using the Brutus Monroe craft glue. I did add a piece of foam, as you can see, to the back, a fun foam to the back, just to give that sentiment a little bit of dimension. And once I attach that to my card base, that's it. Card number one is, oh no, I am sorry. I am actually going to add on the multicolored gems. I forgot I did that. I actually added 3 of those on. These gems are great. They're large in size. They have a flat bottom, so they're easy to adhere. I just used the Brutus Monroe craft glue and they adhered like a dream. I put 2 down on the sentiment strip and 1 up top, and it kind of tied in the green ribbon with the green on the mushrooms and just brought everything together and added some sparkle. So that is card number 1. Very simple. Used a lot of the products from the kit. Love the extras in this kit. And there you go. So for card number 2, I decided to use the stamp set. I really wanted to mask off and create my own little fairy garden. And so I did a lot of masking on this one, and I did not get that filmed. So this is the final. So I masked off the fence. I masked off where the little signs were. The clouds, I have to say, are my favorite thing in this entire stamp set. I love the lines to the clouds. It's so unique and something that you don't really find in a lot of cloud stamps. So I definitely wanted those, and I actually, the 2 on the left are not, it's not one stamp. I actually masked off and added the larger and the smaller one there to kind of look like one was in front of the other. So I'm doing some Copic coloring here. I did not include all of the colors that I used down below because YouTube has a limit on how many products, how long your description can be down there. So, but they are, I do set the caps here in the video, so I have sped this up pretty fast. So if you want to know what colors, you can slow down the video, you can pause it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I will definitely let you know what color I used. I did not do, you know, a whole lot of shading on here. The tree, the little house, the fairy house did have some shading, the clouds a little bit. Most of these images were pretty small, so most of them were just 1, maybe 2 colors. I love the little bird sitting at the top of the tree. And that entire piece over on the right-hand side with the little house and the branch and the clouds, the little bird house, that was all 1 stamp. So I didn't add anything to that. So this really was a simple card to create. And the coloring was just relaxing. So once I had it masked, it was just a matter of sitting back and coloring. So this is my Glitterstock, which I keep in a pouch. So I went through and I wanted to give this card a border. So I decided to use the Sapphire for the background. I kind of went back and forth between the Clover, I believe, or maybe that's Pickle. The Clover and the Pickle are really close together in color. I went back and forth and I finally decided on the Sapphire. I just really like that to bring the blue out in the clouds and a couple of the little dragonflies. So I'm just going to adhere my Glitterstock to my panel. I did cut, or to my card base, excuse me. I did cut down my panel smaller so that way I would have that border, and I added a piece of fun foam to it to give it some dimension. I also decided that I did not want to add a sentiment to the front of this. I just wanted it to be the scene, and then on the inside I will add a sentiment. And this card could really be, you know, just a note saying hello, a thank you card. I added the balloons, so that would give a little bit more options when I decided to add a sentiment. So this is a card I'll just keep in my stash, and then when I need one that I maybe don't have, I can pull it out and add the sentiment. And that's card number 2. Very simple. This stamp set is just wonderful for creating those scenes. So for card number 3, this is an add-on that was available for the kit, and this is the Fairy Garden paper. And this paper blew me away. It had some gorgeous designs in it, and designs that you can use in the spring, you could use just for so many cards, not just with this kit. I love this paper pack. So what I did is I used the 2 mushroom dies, and I chose 2 different designs of paper, and I cut one of the large mushrooms out from my focal point. And then I cut out probably 10, 12 of the smaller ones out of a different paper, of the pattern paper. And I just arranged them where I wanted them. A couple of them were hanging off, and once I glue them down, I'll just cut those off the edges. I just wanted something simple that had that die, that main mushroom in the center as the focal point. And I did put them on a green panel. This was cardstock that actually came with the kit. It's a bright, almost lime green color. So I'm going to adhere my large mushroom down and place all the little ones, trim those off. And for this card, I decided to do this as kind of a little, just thinking about you. It could be a thank you card. The sentiment that I'm going to put on the front of it is just a note, and it's from the Sharon script. And of course, I'm going to put this on some Glitterstock. I am using the Lilac Glitterstock here. Love, love, love this Glitterstock. It is a newer release color for the Glitterstock. I swear I could put the Glitterstock on every card. So I'm using the Just a Note, and that embossing powder over there, here I'm showing you, this is the Emerald City. And I slowed this down because I kind of went through it fast, but I wanted you to see that color. When you tip this to the side, it gives like a yellow color, which is why it was named Emerald City, because it's kind of like the yellow brick road is hidden. It is so beautiful, guys. I couldn't believe it when I got this and heat embossed it and put it out. It is just gorgeous. There's so many things you could use this for. So I'm putting my strip just at the bottom of that large mushroom. I wanted to kind of give it like a base that it was sitting on. And I did not raise this with foam tape, with fun foam or 3M foam tape. I just glued it straight onto the panel. Now I am going to use foam tape, or excuse me, fun foam for the panel with the mushrooms on it, just to kind of raise it up a little bit, as you can see there. If you have not tried the Brutus Monroe Glitterstock, you are missing out. The colors are phenomenal. They are just so bright and vivid, and you can get a sampler pack so you can kind of see what colors you like. So this is the Just a Note, card number 3. So simple, love it. It can really, you know, go for any male, female. Anytime I need a quick, you know, thank you, I'll pull that one out. So for card number 4, so the packaging that comes in the inspiration boxes is always, the artwork is always just, it blows my mind, the artwork. And when I saw this one, I knew I was going to use this for a panel. So I decided to use the foundation dies, the Hexagon, and I used the largest one, and I cut that out of the center of my panel. And I'm going to make a shaker card here. I hadn't made a shaker card in a while, and I had some great shaker bits from Brutus Monroe, some glass ones I'm going to show you here in a moment that I had not used, so I decided to make a shaker card with this one. So what I'm doing is I'm laying my panel back down on top of a piece of white. This is Not Your Mama's cardstock. And I was going to trace a line and lay it down. I thought, you know what? It's a large enough area. I'm going to just put the glue down, place my piece back in, because what I wanted was that to be the background of my shaker, and I wanted it to match up. So it still looked like one continuous panel with the shaker bits on top of it. So I'm going to just set that to the side, and I am using the hot off the press heat resistant acetate. I love this acetate whenever I want to heat emboss on acetate. Now you can heat emboss on acetate, you just have to be very careful with it, but this is made for heat embossing, so it's a little more forgiving. So I am using my anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to stamp out the Hello Beautiful from the Super Sentimental stamp set, and I'm going to do this in the white alabaster embossing powder. I wanted something that would be very bright and vivid and be able to stand out against that background, because that background has a lot of colors, it's very busy, and so I went to, honestly, which is kind of like my fallback, I love the white alabaster embossing powder. So I'm stamping that down with the embossing ink, and I'm going to go in and heat set that. Now, if you've never used this acetate before, it's still acetate, so you can't just keep your heat gun there like you can a cardstock panel. You still need to pull it away, but like I said, it is a little more forgiving. So I've got my 3M foam tape and got my shaker card, and what I'm going to use, the ones I'm going to use first, they're called Sea Glass, and they are actual little pieces of blue. They almost look like little chips of glass. And I wanted something that would pull the blue from the leaves and a couple of the flowers. So I am using my tonic scoop and putting some of the sea glass in, and then I'm also using the bottle cap sequence, which is in Cotton Candy, and it has that same blue, but it will also reflect and pick up some pink, which worked well for the colors in the card also. So I'm going to pull off my foam tape and adhere my panel. Now my panel has my stitched hexagon on it, so I need to make sure that it's even out. So what I'm doing is I'm just gently setting it on top, and I'm going to pick it up and look to make sure everything's lined up, because remember, I'm trying to make this look like one continuous panel in the back. So once I get that done, turn it over, and there's our shaker card. So you can see how the same image flows. We've got our Hello Beautiful, which stands out, and we've got our shaker bits in there. So to adhere this, I'm going to use a trick that I saw Jennifer McGuire do recently, and this was genius. So I needed heavy tape, so I'm using the score tape, but then she put liquid adhesive on top of that, so it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to kind of move your panel around. So when you need a strong adhesive, but you're not good at getting cards straight on a panel like I am, this is an awesome trick. I'm so glad she did this. It was fabulous. So there's card number 4. It's our shaker card. So for card number 5, this is a card that I actually am doing a separate video and separate blog post for that'll come out on Wednesday. I did some foiling, used some Glitterstock, so I'm showing you the images, but I'm not going to say a whole lot about that card. You can see that in the video and blog post coming out on Wednesday. So there's the 5 cards. Love this box. So much fun to use. And the inspiration box for September, oh my goodness, it is out already. Check it out. I will link below. Remember, you can still get all of these products separately. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.